Okay, so no matter if you're making a landing homepage or a magazine style blog homepage, you're going to use Elementor, a page drag and drop builder. Again, we're kind of using free versions. We're not going to have the ultimate power of this thing unless we paid for it. So I'm just going to ask you to do your best. Obviously, if you were doing this on your own, you'd want to purchase a full thing or actually purchase a theme that's really what you want. But because of how we're working, we're kind of limited. Just know that the world's your oyster. You can do anything you want in the real world. So what we need to do is go to our home page, right? So you have set your home page in settings, and it should be marked with this front page. So I'm going to go into this, and we'll go into this top button that says Edit with Elementor. So I'm going to hit that, and it's going to jump me into the Elementor editor, right? And so how this works a lot like the post where you just have these blocks, except for instead of just adding block over block over block, that's where we're going to have a lot more ability to have fancier things inserted. So I'm going to get rid of that first one that they put in for default and talk about this right here. So actually, this area right here, these are the blocks that you have access to, right? And so obviously we have all the basic ones. We don't have access to the pro ones because we didn't pay for it, so I'll just close that. Here's some general ones. I don't know if those come in from the things. And then we have ones that come in from those plugins I had you install, right? And you'll notice also there are paid ones within that. And also, so Orbit. So the various plugins we installed actually put things in. Plus, Nev itself, the theme, actually puts some things in too. So you have to it's really dependent what you're going to have available to you by what theme you have, what plugins you have, and if you have Elementor paid. So basically you have this area, and this kind of is like the block system of WordPress, the Gutenberg block system, where you would just drag things in. So if I just drag in a heading, right, you'll see I have this heading. So one thing I want you to realize here is there's a content box, and then there's a section box that's there because we selected this page to be full width, right? And so what's handy about that section block is that I can actually select that section block, right? Oops, I think I have to select it with this little button right here. So this little dotty button. And I could change that background independent of the content in that box, right? So if I wanted to put a background color in it, right, I could find somewhere where I can find the color. It's like all these buttons here, right? So there you go. Now I have that full width background changed the color, which if you have a block, now this one, you don't have any options to change the background, but in other of these little elements, right, you might be able to change the background of the thing in there independently of the content, right? So that background would go full width, but then you could change, say, the background just in this box right here. Not in the heading one, but in some other ones. So that's handy. You'll see how that becomes handy. Besides that, you're not limited, though, the way you are on Gutenberg blocks to just have one thing in here. What we can do is add a grid system into this this content area. And we do that by going to this little reddish pink plus button. So we add a new section. And here we see all these choices of kind of the layout that it can have. Now this is the default. You don't actually have to choose that one because that's the one it would be if you just, like I just dragged it out here. So say I want to split, or say I want to do 3 columns. I'll do 3 columns. So I hit 3 columns. And so now you notice I have these 3 columns there, right? So now I can go back into my elements here, and I can change those 3 elements. What if I want, an image here, right? And then I'd have to go select which image, right? So choose image. I've got a bird. There we go. So that filled that. Now what do I want here? Well, let me go pick an element. And so I'm going to pick I don't know, it's just something weird. I'll pick a testimonial. There we go. There's a testimonial. And then, of course, I put this third thing in, which I'll just real quick, just pick anything. I'll pick a social icons. There we go. So you see, we have various things that we can do with this. Now, another interesting thing that you can do in Elementor is when you think about it, you're building your website. A lot of people look at it on responsive devices. So you can go into responsive mode and kind of check out, like, this is what it looks like on a desktop. This is what it looks like on a tablet. This is what it looks like on mobile, right? And you can, kind of futz with things and change things in each view. Don't have to stress on that in this class, but you should know that's a thing, and that obviously a lot of people are going to be coming on your website in those various other things besides desktop. Probably more than likely, a lot, even more will be coming from mobile than will be coming from desktop. So keep that in mind as you design. This isn't a web design class. If you took my web design class, I'll talk a lot about responsive design. So obviously it is something you have to worry about in this context, but just do your best, right? Just give it a glance. Don't forget it exists. But largely Elementor should handle it for you. You don't have to worry about a whole lot. And again, I can select this this here and change that background independently. You already saw me do that, so I'm not going to do that. Should you want to get rid of a block, right? All you have to do is go up to the, the little X, and it will get rid of it. And if you want to add one above, you just hit that plus button, and it'll give you an area above. Let's see. So that's where the elements are, and I'll make specific videos, at least for the magazine. I think landing, you'll pretty much see that you just build it out of that, or maybe I'll make an individual one. And if we go over here to this is some things that we can actually help change. Now, hopefully, we already we disabled those, so we don't have to really worry about those things, right? Default font, default styles. There's, I don't know what that is. Oops, get out of that. We probably don't need to worry about that. How do I get back to this? Okay. If we hit exit to the dashboard before we save, it'll cue you like, oh no, that's really bad. And definitely don't hit the back button. Make sure once you're happy with something, you go ahead and just hit update. Right, and it'll save it up, and then you can go ahead and exit to the dashboard, right? So that's how you get out of it, is you go, if you're in the elements, go to the little hamburger menu and hit exit to dashboard. One last thing that Elementor has the ability to do, and I don't know that I want you using it, and I don't know that it'll help you in any way, but you might want to play with it, and you might not be happy. And if you're not happy with a page and you've really screwed it up, just feel free to delete the page and re-put it in, and don't forget the settings and to make it your home page. But Elementor has this template system. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't even actually know that you have the capability to use these because of how our WordPress is set up, and your permissions are weird. I actually don't know, but I'll show you this in case you have the ability to use it, and you could try it. And if you have the ability to use it, go nuts. And so what it has is these blocks. So these would be some more advanced layouts that all you have to do is go ahead and insert one of these blocks and replace the content that's there with the content that you want. So you see, you can build a page out of all these various blocks. Now, obviously, you've got a very limited amount. After that, they all start becoming pro, or not after. Well, they're kind of intertwined. It's kind of a pain, right? So there's a lot of pro ones, and obviously you can't get any pro ones. You can get any free ones. Now, one thing I will tell you, as soon as you go to insert it, you're going to have to actually create an account to log in. So you'd create an account. I don't even have an account, so I'm not going to worry about that. Besides these blocks, there are pages. So this is an entire page designed for you, where then all you have to do is update it. You'd have to go in and futz with the images, the content, the colors. Hopefully the colors would be overridden. I actually haven't tried this, but we have those disabled colors and fonts. Hopefully that would take care of a lot of it for you. It might not. And so say I wanted to do this this one right here. Again, I need to get a free personal account. There's no back button. And so that's something you could try. Again, try it. You may or may not have ability to do it because of our permissions. I don't have an answer to that right at this time as recording this video. It may or may not replace your fonts, and you'll have to go in and futz with it. but it'll give you a pretty sharp layout, right? So this really won't work for people doing the magazine layout. It may work for people who are doing uh, the landing page style, right? This is more of a landing page thing than it is a magazine style thing. Okay, so those are the capabilities of Elementor. I mean, that's it. With those things, we can create a lot, right? So also, I believe one last thing is in some instances we could nest some griddies type things, but don't worry about it. Just do your best to make as sharp of a layout as you can.